Quick reminder that the description has a link to a resource website that you can use to help contribute to ongoing Black Lives Matter organizations. You can do a myriad of things like donate to bail funds or sign petitions, all of which go a long way to fighting systemic racism. Thank you very much for your time. Hello everyone, GoldenNova here, and welcome to Field Test, a series where we sleeve up my latest experiment and see how it operates out in the wild. If you want to see me run these decks through their paces live, or perhaps catch a duel with me, you can catch me right here on YouTube every Friday at 8 PM Central Time. Subscribing will keep you posted, and if you want to stay in the loop on any updates, follow the link in the description for my Twitter. Okay, shameless self-promotion aside, let's take a look at today's thought experiment, Drytron. In the vast reaches of space, there are many mysterious and sundry creatures. From one corner comes a parasitic alien species bent on corrupting and consuming until there's nothing left. From another, the manifestation of one young duelist's imagination. But today, we'll be in the pilot seat of a cosmic cruiser that's going to crush the competition. Drytron is the current headlining card of the next deck build pack, Genesis Impactors, and its unique trait of using the attack of monsters for ritual material instead of levels has opened the doors to myriad possibilities, and the one we're exploring today is Cyber Angels. Today's list is based mostly on YG Organization's Creative Deck Profile series, which you can find linked up at the top right. If you'll remember from the analysis video on Drytrons, I was looking forward to testing Cyber Angels with the Deep Space Dragons, but this list takes it farther than I could have ever imagined. The goal is to trigger the effect of Cyber Angel Natasha multiple times in a single turn, tearing up your opponent's field by way of snatch stealing and putting 2 link materials on your board. We're running a bevy of cards that are meant to give as many of the smaller Drytron, or modules, into circulation as soon as possible, which will give us all the cards we need to claim victory. If you're not up to date on what Drytrons are capable of, there's a link in the top right for you with a rundown of all currently available cards in the archetype. But if you're all caught up, let's take a look at the list I piloted. For monsters, we're running 3 Alpha, 3 Zeta, 2 Gamma, 2 Delta, 1 Beta, 3 Lava Golem, 3 Ben 10, 1 Vrash, 1 Natasha, and 1 DRA. For spells, we're running 3 Meteornus Drytron, 3 Nova, 3 Fafnir, 1 Asterism, 3 Preparation of Rites, 3 Cyber Emergency, 2 Performapal Popper-Up, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Foolish Burial. In the extra, we're running 1 Avramax, 1 Boral Sword Dragon, 1 Access Code Talker, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Pentastag, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Hip Hoshinengen, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Cross Sheep, 1 Link Cross, 1 Link Karibo, and 2 Relinquished Anima. Now, let's move on to the test footage. Our first game is up against Sylvans, piloted by Kale Dragon. The Floral Fighters are going to need a lot of training for their upcoming match in the created card bracket, so let's do some friendly sparring to spruce up the spruces. They'll start by normal summoning Evil Thorn, then tributing it to deal us 300 points of damage, and summoning 2 more Evil Thorns from the deck. This will trigger Rose Girl in the hand, special summoning it, then the Link summon for Aromaseraphine Jasmine. Our opponent activates Monster Reborn, and now we're in a bit of a pickle. They've chosen 3 very distinct and powerful monsters, Evil Thorn, and Evil Thorn. This is challenging, but the answer is quite simple. I just need to discern if my opponent is the kind of person who would put the obvious threat first, second, or third. Now, because it's the first one I would read, my opponent's hoping that I'll forget its power as I read the others, so clearly I can't choose the Evil Thorn that's in front of me. However, my opponent is clever, and they would know that I would catch that kind of trick, so clearly I can't choose the Evil Thorn that's in front of them.
You have a dizzying intellect.
Wait till I get going. When piloting Sylvans, your plays are all or nothing, so I clearly can't choose the Evil Thorn that's in the center. But as we all know, horseshoe political theory says that both ends of an extreme are equally bad, so clearly I can't choose the Evil Thorn that's on either side.
You're just stalling.
You'd like to think that, wouldn't? Yeah, I am. I'll just pick a random one. They'll activate the Aromaseraphine Jasmine, tributing the Evil Thorn to summon a Mardell from deck, using its effect to search a Hermitry from deck to hand. They'll link into Halka Fibrax, summoning a Recover from deck, then they'll link into a Cross Sheet before passing to us. We'll start by activating a Zeta in hand, tributing a Ben 10 so we can summon it and search for a Meteornus Drytron. This will trigger the Ben 10, searching us a Natasha. We'll activate a Cyber Emergency, searching a Delta, which will then activate, tributing another Ben 10 so that we can draw a card, and then use Ben 10 to search a Vrash. We'll activate the Fafnir we just drew to add a Drytron Nova, playing it to summon a Gamma from deck. We'll set 1, then play Performer Pal Popper up, discarding 3, drawing 3, and losing 3,000 life points. We'll play Terraformer to search another Fafnir, then play the Meteorn's Drytron and Ritual Summon the Natasha in our grave. We'll activate their effect to gain 1,000 life points, then we'll activate the Meteor's Drytron in grave to reduce one of our Drytrons by 1,000 and put it back in our hand. We'll activate Gamma to summon it, which will then summon another Drytron from our grave. We'll link into Borrelsword Dragon, then summon Natasha, stealing their Mardell. We'll activate Natasha's effect to gain 1,500 life points, move Mardell to attack, then go to battle phase. Borrelsword will attack over the cross sheet for 3,000 damage, Mardell will attack directly for 24, and then we'll activate Borrelsword's effect to put Natasha in defense position so we can attack directly for a game. Next up is a crazy ritual mashup to match our own, Fossil Megalith, piloted by Calcite. A futuristic force of the stars clashes with an ancient record of the old world. Hold on to your arcade sticks. Ready? Fight! We'll start by playing Preparation of Rites, using it to search a Cyber Angel Ben 10. We'll activate Ban Alpha in hand, tributing that Ben 10 so we can search another Ben 10. The tributed one will search as a Natasha, and then we'll activate Zeta in hand, tributing that Ben 10 so we can search a Meteornus Drytron. The tributed Ben 10 will search as another Ben 10, and then we'll activate Meteornus Drytron to ritual summon a Natasha. We'll activate Popper up to shuffle through a few cards, then we'll put the Meteornus Drytron back into our hand. We'll use Natasha to gain 500 life points, and then link off our lone Drytron into a Link Karibo before passing to our opponent. They'll start by playing Miracle Rupture to send a Weathering Soldier from deck to grave, triggering its effect to search them a Fossil Fusion. They'll activate Extra Foolish Burial to send a Herald of the Arclight from their extra to the grave, using its effect to search a Megalith full. They'll activate Aeratron in hand to ritual summon that full, triggering its on-summon effect to get an Oak from their graveyard. They'll activate full to ritual summon an Ophiel from their deck, and then activate their on-summon effect to search a Bathor. Ophiel will activate their effect to ritual summon that Bathor, using its effect to destroy our Link Karibo. Now they'll play a Fossil Fusion, using a material from both of our graveyards to summon a Skolgios, and they'll go to battle phase. Thankfully, Natasha can negate any attack made against any ritual monster as many times per turn as we want, so they have to pass to us. We'll start our turn by tributing the Natasha to summon a Ban Alpha, and they'll chain the full so they can get an Aeratron from deck for effect negation. The Ban Alpha will search as a Rash, and then we'll summon a Zeta for no value. We'll link for Cross Sheep, then activate Natasha in grave. They'll negate with the Aeratron, but Natasha's not once per turn, so on a new chain, we'll activate Natasha again, taking their Aeratron. This will activate Cross Sheep, having us draw 2 and discard 2. We'll have Natasha gain us 1,000 life points, and then we'll link for Borrelsword Dragon. We'll activate Natasha again, taking their Megalith full, then use Natasha's effect to gain us 1,500 life points. We'll use all the new life points we got to activate a Performer Pal Popper up, and then we'll activate a Fafnir that we just drew to search a Drytron Nova, using it to summon a Raz Beta from deck. We'll activate Letta Delta for no value, and then we'll activate the Raz Beta, summoning it, and putting the DRA that they used for the Fossil Fusion back into our graveyard, and then putting the Meteornus Drytron back into our hand. We'll summon Gamma to summon a Letta Delta in attack mode, attack over their Skolgios with the Borrelsword Dragon. The Fossil Fusion will go back to their hand, but will attack directly with Delta for a game. Now it's time to go head to head with Fusion Yugioh piloting, get this, Numeron Altergeist. Yes, the two decks that keep you from doing anything that taste great together. Let's get started. They'll start by sending Numeron Wall to the grave to put Numeron Network onto the board, sending Numeron Calling to the grave to summon 3 Numeron monsters from their extra to make Utopic Zexal and set 3, Uh-oh, we don't have an out to any of this, do we? Yeah, no we don't. I'm calling it here, we've lost. There's no reason to watch any more of this. Okay, that was fine. I'm sure we can make up for that. Who's next on the docket? Oh, Oliver running Gren, Maju, Stun. Uh-oh. They'll start by activating Dimension Shifter, then special summoning Eater of Millions from hand, then passing to us. This puts us in a bit of a bind. Without the graveyard, we can't exactly recycle the Drytrons out of there, but we can't do nothing because, you know, Gren Maju. We'll play Fafnir to search a Nova, and then play that Nova to summon Raz Beta. The idea was to use that to try to recycle some of our banished Drytrons, but I realize afterwards that doesn't exactly work when you can't get it to the graveyard in the first place. We'll link summon a Nightmare Cerberus to get rid of the Eater of Millions, and then attack our opponent for 1,600 before passing to them. On their turn, they normal summon the dreaded Gren Maju, attack over our Nightmare Cerberus for 1,200, set a card, and then pass to us. We'll start by playing another Fafnir to search for Nova, but then they activate the Bane of all ritual decks, Droll Lockbird. We'll use the Nova to summon an Alpha from deck, then link it away for Link Karibo, but when we try to summon the Ban Alpha from our graveyard by tributing a Natasha, they'll chain the Called by the Grave to get rid of the Natasha, so we can't summon it to block attacks. With nothing else, we pass to our opponent. They'll special summon Eater of Millions out of their hand, they'll go to battle phase and attack the Link Karibo with the Eater of Millions, which we have to let them do, otherwise we'll take a huge chunk of damage, and then they pass to us. We draw the Lava Golem, and I desperately try to make a relinquished Anima so that we can tribute both of their monsters, and then scoop up the Lava Golem, but even though it's not ours, Eater of Millions still can't be tributed. On their turn, they'll go to battle phase, they'll banish the alpha and attack directly for 6400 with Gren Maju, and we have to draw something amazing, but a Gamma with no other Drytrons in the grave to revive is not it. We summon it so that we can try to do something, but we have to pass back to our opponent with a defense position Gamma. They'll go to battle phase and banish our Gamma, and then attack directly with 6400 for game. Okay, time for the best of 3, and oh, it looks like it's Wing Beast good stuff. This will be a nice wholesome match to end things off on. Let's go! They'll start by special summoning both Gust and Gale from their hand to link summon for Ystrix, using its effect to summon Chris from deck. They'll normal summon Oster, then overlay for Forstrix, detaching material to search for Singing Lanius. This will activate the Ystrix, setting a Soul Shade Force from their deck, then they'll special summon the Singing Lanius from hand to link summon for Union Carrier. They'll play the Soul Shade Force to summon back the Forstrix, then overlay for a Cyber Dragon Infinity, then make a Cymorg. Oh no, they're going for the lock. They'll attach the Thunderbird to the Cymorg using Union Carrier, and then summon Apex Avian during the end phase, and we are effectively under the lock. With no quick effect to make a larger chain off of it, we have no way to get past this, so we pass to them and let them have it. I will not lose to another lockout. Alexis Rhodes deserves better than this. It's time for round 2. We'll start by playing Foolish Burial, sending a Delta from deck to grave, tributing the alpha in hand to summon that Delta, drawing a card because we have a ritual spell in hand. It's a preparation of right, so we use it to search a Benten, then tribute it to summon the alpha from grave. This will search as both a Natasha and a Vrash. We'll play Pauper up. We want to keep the Lava Golem in hand just in case we have to get through another lock. We'll put the Meteornus back in our hand, link summon for Linkuriboh, then use the Meteornus Drytron to summon a Natasha, we'll use it to gain some life points, and then we'll pass to our opponent. On their turn, they'll special summon a Gust, a Gladius, a Harmartin, a Gale, and a Caligo Claw Crow before link summoning for Ystrix, summoning a Zephyros from deck. They'll link for Union Carrier, and then they'll link summon for Cymorg, using Union Carrier to attach the Thunderbird to the Cymorg, and then they'll set a card before going to battle phase. Union Carrier will prompt the Linkuriboh, and then Cymorg will attack Natasha, but again, it can negate attacks. With nothing else, they'll go to end phase and then summon the Apex Avian from their deck before passing to us. We'll start by using Lava Golem to get rid of their Apex Avian and Cymorg, then use Delta Engrave, tributing our Benten in hand to summon it and draw a card. Benten will trigger and searches another Benten. We use Meteornus Engrave, putting it back in our hand, and then we'll link for Phoenix, discarding a Preparation of Rice to get rid of their back row. We'll activate Alpha Engrave, tributing the Benten in hand to summon it and searching us a DRA. We'll activate Natasha Engrave, taking their Union Carrier, and then linking for Boral Sword Dragon. We'll use Natasha again, taking back our Lava Golem, then we'll use Union Carrier to attach a Drytron from deck to Natasha. We'll use Natasha's effect to gain 1500 life points, and then we'll go to battle phase. Natasha will attack over their monster, Boral Sword will attack for 3000, Lava Golem will attack for 3000, and then Boral Sword will swap the Golem to defense so we can attack directly for game. Okay, we're back on equal footing, but unfortunately they're making us go first. Now, this does mean we get to avoid the turn 1 Apex Avian lock, but we are not known for building a board. Let's see what we can put together before they get a chance to set up. We'll start by playing Foolish Burial, sending a Delta from deck to grave, then tributing the Benten in hand to summon that Delta, letting us draw a card. Benten will trigger, searching us another Benten. We'll activate Nova, summoning a Gamma from deck, then we'll activate Zeta in hand, tributing that Gamma so that we can search another Meteornus Drytron. We'll activate Terraforming, searching a Drytron Fafnir, then activating it to add a Drytron Asterism from deck to hand. We'll activate Gamma Engrave, tributing the Benten. We don't get the extra summon, but Benten does get us to Natasha. We'll activate Meteornus to summon that Natasha, and then we'll activate it Engrave to put it back in our hand. We'll link summon for Linkuriboh, and then link 2 into Masquerena before passing to our opponent. They'll start by playing Allure of Darkness, drawing 2 and banishing a Bora. They'll normal summon Oster, using its effect to special summon that banished Bora, special summon a Chris from hand, and then link summoning for Ystrix. They'll use its effect to summon a Zephyros from deck, then overlay for Forstrix. It's at this time that we use IP Masquerena to link summon into Nightmare Unicorn, shuffling away that Forstrix so they can't continue that combo. They'll set a card, then use Oster to put a wedge counter on Nightmare Unicorn, and then they'll pass to us. For turn, we draw Preparation of Right, so we'll play that to search for a Benten and grab a Ritual Spell from our grave. We'll activate Natasha, taking their Forstrix, then we'll activate Natasha's effect to gain 1100 life points. We'll use Delta Engrave, tributing a Benten to summon it from the grave and drawing us a card, then Benten will search as Vrash. We'll tribute that Vrash to summon a Gamma back, using it to summon back a Zeta. We'll link summon for Nightmare Phoenix, using it to destroy their back row and drawing us a card. Then we'll link for Boral Sword Dragon, then use Meteornus Drytron to special summon a Benten from our graveyard. That gives us a monster that we can have Boral Sword go to defense, so we'll swing in for 3000, 22, and 3000 for game. Ooh, that was a bit of a roller coaster. There's certainly a lot of room for me to improve my technical play, but for now, let's go over what works and what needs work. First, Natasha's just a broken card, there's no way around this. The card lacks any hard once per turn clauses, and on top of being effectively unbeatable in combat, and can change of heart an entire board in one turn, it inexplicably balances out the drawback of the deck's best draw spell, Perform a Pal Popper-Up, because it just gives you life points. Second, getting back into the game is only ever a single card away. None of the Drytrons self-banish, and they only require a single copy of themselves for their own summon effect, so you can go +2 or 3 without much effort. Even tributing ritual monsters doesn't feel that bad, because your themed ritual spell can summon them from the grave, so you're rarely, if ever, out of the game just because you're low on resources. Third, the cards in this deck are extremely mutable. While there are particular Drytrons you want to have early on to trigger your plays, any one of them can be used to start your Cyber Angel engine. On top of that, Drytron Nova and Cyber Emergency are both strong ways to get the Drytrons you most need into circulation, and a way to bolster that cycle when that's no longer an issue. But then there's the downsides. First, well, going first, as far as I can tell, isn't much of an option with this variant. There's a heavy focus on Natasha's ability to break boards, but they're not going to be facilitating much of an extra link if your opponent doesn't have anything for you to take. Second, we didn't run any hand traps or interaction that we could use to mess with our opponent. I added a few duels to this field test to showcase this, but believe me, there are even more of them on the cutting room floor that were essentially just me not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because of 1 or 2 floodgates or pieces of interaction. And with nothing but the Drytron cards to work with, well, let's just say it's a pretty good case for diversifying your deck. Third, Called by the Grave is going to be your nemesis. Even though this build only ran 1 Natasha, I really wanted to see if we could show off Rash. Even hitting 1 turns off the other for the whole turn, making the primary threat of this deck completely toothless. And while your Drytrons can summon themselves from the hand, the best place is from the grave, and since you won't be playing against many decks that aren't running this most pervasive of counter cards, you'll always have to be ready for this to interrupt your play sequences. All in all, this was a blast to play, and stealing monsters just to link them off to steal more monsters was ridiculously fun. But now, I'm curious to hear what you all have to say on it. What changes would you have made to the deck if you were making it? And what ritual theme do you want to see team up with the Astronomical Arsenal? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.